of Staff Mark Meadows, former lawyer Rudy Giuliani, conservative attorney John Eastman, former Justice Department.
God damn, look at these defendants, dude. This is a sexy-ass list, baby. That's right. Rudolph Giuliani was a very famous prosecutor. Famous for what? Famous for tackling organized crime. Using what statute? You guessed it, a mother RICO, baby. If there's one guy that knows RICO's in and out, full circle, we're talking Rudolph Giuliani. You love to see it, folks. How the mighty have fallen.
County, Georgia, we could see it all happen on TV. In Georgia, state law allows for cameras inside the courtroom. Remember the O.J. Simpson trial? We saw every moment as it happened.
I don't think anyone in the media is even hiding that they're so horny for this. I'm horny for it because, one, it's great. I mean, it's so much, so many eyeballs will be on it. It's free content for me. Like everyone is just like salivating at the opportunity for revenue, but also we as American people and people all around the world who are excited at the prospect of watching Donald Trump in court are also excited. So I'm excited on two different metrics. On one, as a content creator, because it is pure unadulterated content, and two, as a content watcher and enjoyer. So it is going to be a phenomenal experience overall. Genuinely excited about it. Brian Kemp talking shit on Trump. I mean, it's going to be incredible. Trump used the R word on social media this morning. Wait, what? What do you mean? Oh, I thought he was being ableist. Georgia grand jury indicts Trump, 18 allies in election interference case. Let's go.
I know you heard about it, about Donald Trump. The former president has been indicted again, this time by the state of Georgia, on charges he and 18 others engaged in criminal conspiracy. They are accused of trying to undermine the results of the 2020 election in Georgia, a state that he lost by nearly 12,000 votes. Now, just in case this is all starting to get confusing, we get it. This is the fourth indictment of the former president, who is currently campaigning to be president again. And this one is on serious state charges, which means if he were to be convicted, he could not pardon himself. Nicole Killian is following it all at the courthouse in Atlanta, and she's got the latest for us. Nicole, good morning to you. What can you tell us?
Good morning to you, Gail. District Attorney Fani Willis has asked all 19 defendants to surrender within the next 10 days, and she wants to try all of them together. This sprawling indictment lays out an alleged criminal enterprise, citing criminal acts here in Georgia and 6 other states.
But Kemp can easily and would pardon him. As far as I understand, the pardoning process in Georgia is not as open and shut. There is a pardoning board, and also Brian Kemp himself is not the type of person who would pardon Donald Trump, in my opinion. I mean, he's a Republican Party cutout, right? And if Donald Trump won the presidency, he would absolutely pardon him if he had the power to do so. I think he's that type of person because Republicans always fall in line. But having said that, Brian Kemp himself is not exactly fond of Donald Trump, partially because of what is literally going on in this Georgia case. Because Brian Kemp is the governor of Georgia. Before he was the governor of Georgia, he was the Secretary of State of Georgia. And he was an incredibly corrupt, awful demon of a Republican, as is your job if you are the Secretary of State in Georgia. It's quite literally to ensure that you're purging people off the voter ballots. You're making sure that there are no polling stations in like black and brown neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods in general. And that, of course, set him up nicely for the gubernatorial race, which he defeated Stacey Abrams in, and became the governor of Georgia. So after that happened, Donald Trump, who had pushed for him originally, did the mafioso thing and said, all right, time to help me out. I've been a supporter of yours. Go ahead. Give me votes. Now, he didn't directly say that to Brian Kemp, but he has alluded to it with Brian Kemp as well, including other people in the Georgia state administration. Now, when Brian Kemp said absolutely not and spoke out against it, which, by the way, makes him not a good guy, okay? I don't think he's a good guy at all. I don't think that Brian Kemp and Rafflesberger, or however you say his name. I don't think these are like good guys. They're still Republicans, okay? But they are party loyalist Republicans and not necessarily Trump loyalist Republicans. They're party loyalist Republicans who are also smart enough to recognize, like, I don't want to go to fucking jail. So Brian Kemp openly was contentious towards Donald Trump, to which Donald Trump absolutely did not take kindly to, and then spent pretty much the last couple of years shitting on Brian Kemp, including trying to set up a primary opponent against him who lost. The reality is that there is there's not exactly a lot of love between Brian Kemp and Donald Trump. So even in a situation in Georgia, as I mistakenly thought, where the governor could pardon you in other, because you can do that in other states, I thought maybe
I'm Brian Kemp.
Brian Kemp would be the funny man standing between Trump and freedom, because Trump could technically, I guess, pardon himself on federal issues, on federal crimes, but he cannot pardon himself on state crimes. So we would have to go to Brian Kemp and beg him to pardon him. But that is not the case in Georgia anyway. The governor does not have pardon power in the same way that in other states the governor does. Ultimately, this is all you need to know about Brian Kemp.
I'm Brian Kemp. I'm so conservative. I blow up government spending. I own guns that no one's taking away. My chainsaw's ready to rip up some regulations. I got a big truck, just in case I need to round up criminal illegals and take them home myself. Yep, I just said that. I'm Brian Kemp. If you want a politically incorrect conservative, that's me.
So just understand, like, it's not like Brian Kemp is a good guy. And the reason why I wanted you to understand that, the reason why I wanted you to see that, I like that people are saying fucking gross. First of all, I mean, of course it's gross. It's like, that's what conservative politics is, okay? Conservative politics revolves around vice signaling. The only truthful thing that he said in that situation was he's Brian Kemp, and also that he wants to deregulate. That's it. Everything else is just like seasoning. Oh, I want to round up illegals in my F-350, in the back of my F-350. It's like, shut the fuck up. If Brian Kemp had the power and wouldn't pardon Trump, the libs would suck him like they did Liz Cheney. Yes. He also, ironically, and Megaphonics is correct in this, did the classic, yep, I did that. That's a lightsaber dude meme, but like in a Republican fashion. He's like, yep, I said that. I said it. Illegals, I'm rounding them up. Yep. Yeah. That's racism, dude. Anyway, in 2020, so Donald Trump posted this, said a large, complex, detailed, but irrefutable report on the presidential election fraud, which took place in Georgia, is almost complete and will be presented by me at a major news conference at 11 a.m. on Monday of next week in Bedminster, New Jersey. Based on the result of this conclusive report, all charges should be dropped against me and others. There will be a complete exoneration. They never went after those that rigged the election. They only went after those that fought to find. And I'm not going to get clipped reading that, okay? Because there's a lot of people out there that desperately working overtime to try to clip me out of context saying something that even is near the N-word. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to jump on that. Okay? This is an extension, a continuation of like the classic perfect phone call. Okay? Perfect phone call. The greatest phone call of all time, which was perfect. It is perfect, not in the way that Trump thinks is perfect, but it's perfect to show like criminal conspiracy and fraud. It's perfect in the sense that in the phone call, he actually said the exact number, for example. Like, he didn't actually ballpark it. He didn't say 12,000. He said 11,780 votes. And then followed that up with one more than we have right now, which is, it is perfect for the fucking district attorney. It's perfect for the prosecutorial team. They're like, oh my God, how perfect is this for us? It's a slam dunk case. Now, I have seen a lot of very funny defenses of this. Classic internet hippo meme comes to mind, where he once famously said, a lot of what's happening with conservatism in modern day is basically looking at like crimes and then making it seem as though it's not a crime, where they'll like Donald Trump and his defenders are saying like, I didn't know it was illegal to just make a phone call to a friend on a Sunday afternoon. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not the point. You're saying things that are illegal in the phone call, which is unironically the conservative defense now. People are basically stating, oh, it's illegal to say the election was rigged. Wow. Oh my God. They're coming after you too. It's like, no, they're not coming after you, Deborah. They're not coming after you, Hank. Okay? Like, it's not illegal to say the election was stolen. You've been saying it non-fucking stop since the election was stolen from you by Joe Biden. See, I'm saying it too. Joe Biden stole the election from Donald Trump. Sucks to suck. You got by a fucking corpse. Okay? There you go. Arrest me, officers. I've said the election was stolen. Okay? Notice how that's not illegal for me to say? Is it because I'm a libtard? No. It's because I'm not saying it in the act of a criminal conspiracy when I'm giving a clear directive to a person in a position of power to behave a certain way that is illegal. There it is. This is the OG. New right-wing thing is describing crimes as generically as possible to pretend like they're not crimes. Someone gets convicted of conspiracy and they start yelling, wow, so it's illegal to make plans with friends now. That's what they're doing. Making fun of Mike Pence is illegal now too, says Jack Posobiec. Calling Mike Pence a wimp is now a felony in the communist state of Georgia, says Cat Turd. Fuck yeah. Here's some more. Greg Price says, things that are now illegal according to the Georgia indictment. Asking people for phone numbers, reserving rooms in Capitol building, telling people to watch TV, getting people to attend legislative hearings. It's illegal to rob a bank now. It's illegal to go to a bank now. It's illegal to ask for money at a bank. That's what this is. That is literally what this is. And you know what? If you were to ask me in like 2014, 2015, I would have said these guys know what they're saying is not true. That they are being deceptive on purpose because they think this is a good way to deflect away from the main point of contention. In 2023, I'm not so sure. I think they are this stupid. I think literally they are this stupid. I think they have bludgeoned themselves in the head with so much entitlement, so much American exceptionalism, so much American individualism, and so much American dogma that I do legitimately think they are this stupid. Like the family of the guy in Provo, Utah, who very clearly said, I am going to assassinate the president with my M24 that I'm dusting off right now. I'm going to wear a ghillie suit and I'm going to kill him. He's coming to town and I'm going to do all of these things. He said that, right? He posted on Facebook. Then he followed it up by saying, FBI, I know you're watching. You know, come over to my house. I have guns waiting for you. You know, I'll kill you too. That was an invitation for suicide by law enforcement, okay? That's what that was. Now, every normal person should understand that. And yet, for some reason, there were conservatives who were saying, no, it's his free speech right. Because I do legitimately think people are that stupid now. I do legitimately believe that people are that fucking stupid now. Okay? You're catching up finally? No, I think that there was always a lot of stupid people. I think that there were always a lot of stupid people. Okay? However, I think the thought leaders on the conservative side were maliciously engaging with them. They were doing it in a cynical way. They were behaving dumber than they actually are because they think it's a deceiving counter. It's a successful counter. I no longer believe that the thought leaders on the right, for the most part, are actually doing this cynically. I think that they are doing it because they're just as stupid.
A grand jury in Atlanta returned an indictment that alleges former President Trump and 18 other defendants knowingly joined a conspiracy to unlawfully change the outcome of the 2020 election in the state of
Your boy Ryan Grimm said that with the last indictment, even suggested Biden should pardon Trump if he promised not to run for president. Yeah, that's insane. That would be the dumbest thing that anyone could ever do, especially because that would then cave into all of the things that Republicans have been claiming, that they're only doing this to stop Donald Trump from running, and not because he legitimately has done crimes, which he has.
Georgia.
The defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise to overturn Georgia's presidential election result.
The indictment was handed up before cameras Monday night after the grand jury heard from a series of witnesses. It culminates a 2.5-year investigation by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis.
The indictment includes 41 felony counts and is 97 pages long.
The indictment charges 19 people, including Trump, his former White House chief of...
Who's this lady? What's her name? This is the district attorney, Fani Willis, who is not a great person, in my opinion. I think she's a massive careerist, and she's utilized the RICO chart. She's utilized RICO statutes against teachers. I don't know if it was her that specifically tried to use it against the Cop City protesters or someone else, but most famously, she's utilized the RICO against YSL. Free Jeffrey, Free Slime. I'm, of course, referencing Young Thug. I think that, she's a typical careerist. Cop City protesters getting RICOs in Georgia. Yeah, I know, but I don't know if it was her direction.
Staff Mark Meadows, former lawyer Rudy Giuliani, conservative attorney John Eastman, former Justice Department...
God damn, look at these defendants, dude. This is a sexy-ass list, baby. Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Mark Meadows, and our boy Kenneth Cheesebro. He's back. Jeffrey Clark, Jenna Ellis, Ray Smith III, Robert Cheeley, Michael A. Roman, David Schaefer, Sean Still, Stephen Lee, Harrison Floyd, Trevian C. Cuddy, and, of course, yet another incredible one, Sidney Powell, as we know. This is also from the federal case as well. Some of these are from the federal case. These are some of the other defendants. Kathy Latham, Scott Hall, Missy Hampton. Now, one thing that I will admit, I do love me a good story. I do love me a good story that starts with America's mayor. America's mayor that got to that position after 9/11, but won that mayoral role by being an aggressive prosecutor. That's right, Rudolph Giuliani. A very famous prosecutor. Famous for what? Famous for tackling organized crime. Using what statute? You guessed it, a motherfucking RICO, baby. If there's one guy that knows RICO's in and out, full circle, we're talking Rudolph Giuliani. You love to see it, folks. How the mighty have fallen. Okay? This is a very fun story for many different reasons, but that is just one that I personally find really hilarious. One of these people is also a publicist for Kanye West. I don't know exactly which one it is, but that was really funny as well. And of course, obviously, Fani Willis, the DA, also was prosecuting or is prosecuting the YSL case as well. It's Trevian C. Cuddy, which is Kanye's publicist. Fucking is awesome.
Department official Jeffrey Clark and several other Trump allies. The former president is facing 13 felony counts, including violating Georgia's RICO Act, a racketeering law used to take down major crime organizations.
There's no way we lost Georgia. There's no way. That was a rigged election.
The investigation.
I was looking for some of these names. Harrison Floyd is the leader of the Black Voices for Trump. Oh, I love that. In this picture, a person holds up a sign, Black Voices for Trump, at a march and rally for President Donald Trump. Have you seen this? Oh, is this the Larry King? Yeah. Let me tell you something, okay? We're going to get to the reactions. Hold on. Spoilerino, okay? Spoilerino alert. John Eastman, one of Trump's lawyers that got RICO'd, is going to be disbarred as a lawyer next week in Los Angeles court by the state of California. Due to his actions to push false allegations of voter fraud following the 2020 presidential election. The pro-Trump attorney now faces 11 disciplinary charges in an ongoing trial taking place in downtown Los Angeles. For the record, I mean, things are not looking good for the Trump people, okay? especially considering that Donald Trump famously does not care about defending those who have stood by him. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I love this shit. I love it. I enjoy it. And you should too. This is a moment where no matter how much of a Maoist third worldist or whatever the fuck you are, you can just sit back and watch a person with profound amounts of power who has been so incredibly and transparently corrupt get what's coming for him by other people that are also uniquely corrupt in their own ways, right? But still, it's like a telenovela. I am libbed up on this day, and I am not ashamed to admit that I'm libbed up on this day. Okay? Yeah. This is my fight song. You know what I mean? I'm Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Where then President Trump asked Georgia Secretary of State Republican Brad Raffensperger to find the votes to win him Georgia. Trump has repeatedly defended the call and denied all wrongdoing.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Rudy Giuliani is one of the defendants.
As I've said time and time again in this perfect phone call, which Donald Trump is right, it was a perfect phone call. He very openly states the exact number, one more vote than what he was losing to Joe Biden by. Now, sorry, when you fucking ask that to a person whose role and responsibility in the election is directly controlling the elections, you're not just simply asking a question. You can't rob a bank and then turn around and be like, I'm just exercising my First Amendment rights. I just wanted to get the money from the bank. What the fuck's going on? As we have used the bank analogy time and time again, it does not also matter whether you legitimately believe that the bank has your money or not. That is not a defense. You can't in your mind think, well, this bank has my money, so I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to threaten the person that works at the bank to give me the money, to put it in a bag. That's still a bank robbery. Okay? And a number that specific is actually, not really Trumpian at all, unless it is for a specific purpose. And that purpose is find these fucking votes for me so I win Georgia.
Accused of racketeering and conspiracy for making calls to pressure local officials and making false statements about election fraud before legislative committees.
I don't have to be a genius to figure out that those votes are not legitimate votes.
His lawyer called the indictment a book of lies.
I consider this very unfair, very unjust toward me, but much worse toward my country.
The indictment also accuses several defendants of harassing and intimidating Fulton County election worker.
Any chance he did this in 2016 too? No. How could he have done it in 2016? He was just a real estate guy. He didn't have any fucking power to do this. This is, okay, understand something. What Donald Trump is doing here is not a crime that like a lot of other Americans or the average American can get indicted for. Because you have to be the president or at least like in contact with the Secretary of State or the Lieutenant Governor of the state that you want to change the election outcomes in. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why whenever people say, they came after Trump, they're going to come after you too, buddy. Like, that's a silly take. Because if your HVAC business owning father tried to call in to a congressperson's office or the governor's office and said, hey, you better find 11,780 votes right now, and then click, ended the phone call, that's probably not prosecutable. It's, depending on the level of threat that your HVAC business owner father engaged in, right? But that's entirely different than what Trump was doing. A deliberate attempt. Anyway.
Ruby Freeman to falsely confess to election crimes. She testified before the House January 6th Select Committee last summer.
Do you know how it feels to have the President of the United States to target you?
In a statement, Trump's legal team.
This was actually one of the most devastating parts about it, too, for the record. We can cover like a longer part of her testimony, but it was so sad. It's so sad. There are very real people that suffered. There are very real people that suffered as a consequence of Donald Trump's schemes.
To target you.
In a statement, Trump's legal team accused the DA of trying to force through and rush the indictment.
We look at the facts, we look at the law, and we bring charges.
According to the Fulton County.
And the people, you know who was like at the leading the helm on the threatening of that random lady? Rudolph motherfucking Giuliani. So I hope he goes to jail.